I wonder if the cat will have any opinions on this. Gus?
He's a massive Michael B. Jordan fan.
Yeah, huge.
Gus, how quickly do you think Guy Pearce should have drowned? Is it longer than 0.1 seconds? Yeah, you're right. That's correct. You're in a stupid
Michael B.
cat.
Jordan can hold his breath for a ridiculous amount of time, can he?
Yeah.
He was just
Guy Pearce can't.
Did Laura watch it with you, Calvin? 'Cause remember her tamping about the conversation we had the other day about someone holding their breath?
No, she
Oh, it's
didn't.
about Tom Cruise holding his breath.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Should we watch it going, he can't do that?
Yeah. Maybe we'll watch. Maybe I'll get Laura to watch Mission Impossible 5 or whatever it was, and we can.
5, yeah. She could
Listen
be our
to
first
him.
guest. Ranting about Tom Cruise's lung
Here
capacity.
explaining to us why people can't hold their breath for that long.
Apparently, Kate Winslet did it for longer. So
Yeah, that is outrageous.
We'd be like,
Was she dying though?
yeah, she's dead.
What?
now.
I always see like those
Legends say
rumors
she's still
that
holding
like
it.
that like they flooded the thing and she got stuck underwater or something.
Good lord.
Yeah, she could
Danny
hold her-
DeVito must have held his breath for longer in that episode of It's Always Sunny almost died in.
She could hold her breath for over 7 minutes, but she couldn't shift up a bit on that door. It's just
So
selfish.
Yeah, why don't she go in the water? Clearly, she's
She's
built for it.
Yeah, she's literally built for it.
She's half fish.
Kate Winslet is built different.
Cod Winslet.
On that note,
Edit that,
terrible.
edit that out.
let's
Right.
go.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Keeping It Real review. As always, I'm James, joined by Jack, Calvin, and Reese. This week, it's our review of Tom Clancy's Without Remorse, premiered on Amazon Prime on 30th of April, starring Michael B. Jordan and directed by Stefano Salima. All right, Jack, start with you today. Your brief, non-spoiler thoughts on Without Remorse, and then we'll get into it.
Okay. I hope that is keeping in though.
Of course, authentic.
Yeah, I mean, this film was okay, wasn't it? I think I've said that at the beginning of like 4 episodes, about 4 films. It was okay. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. And it's appropriately named because he has absolutely zero remorse in this film.
Nil remorse.
I've had more remorse after farting in a lift than this man has had for killing, I'd say, upwards of 40 people.
Are you the guy who farts in lifts?
What?
You're
Are you
that
the guy
guy.
who goes out his way. to fart in lifts?
He doesn't even go
No.
in.
It's the only time you can feel something.
He just farts as the
he
door's
just
closing
sticks
from the
his
outside.
rear end.
I feel immense remorse. It's only when it's absolutely necessary. When it's either that or death.
Yeah.
Speaking of
And then think about
necessary,
Then think about it for weeks after. Sweating.
was this movie necessary? I don't think so. Expanding the Jack Ryan universe could have done a little better, couldn't they? Calvin,
Is it part of the Jack Ryan universe?
Yeah, they're all
apparently
linked, I think.
Apparently,
what,
did you not watch the post-credit scene or mid-credit scene? No. Oh,
Who was it? Was it John Krasinski?
no, but they're setting up a Rainbow Six movie.
Oh,
So
great.
I mean, they're both Amazon, so it could happen, maybe. Who knows? Right, Calvin, what are your thoughts Without Remorse?
Yeah, same as Jared. I just thought it was fine. Yeah, like you said, does it really need to exist? I think we're just gonna be largely forgettable. I didn't know about the mid-credit scene, so I don't really think this is a strong. This is a strong entry point for like an expanded sort of universe. If they want to try and go that route, I think they're probably just doing that to jump on the sort of bandwagon. I think it was way better than the last one we got, which I believe was that Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit with
Chris Pine.
With Chris Pine. I thought that was awful. So this was better than that, which is not really saying much. I thought like the action was really well done, but obviously it's sort of what you come to expect from this sort of film, like being like a Tom Clancy adaptation.
Yeah.
But even the action, I just thought was sort of bare minimum. Could have been, wasn't as good as some other films that sort of take the risks with these sort of like action oriented plots. So I just think, yeah, it was just a bit plain. I don't think in a couple of years' time, I don't think I'll ever look back at it and even remember it unless anyone mentions it to me.
Unless they do a sequel, and then you're like, oh, I saw that. I think.
Yeah, James Gunn to direct. I'll be interested to see.
Yeah. Well, the director Stefano Sollima, he did the sequel to Sicario.
Oh yeah,
Day of the Soldado. Yeah, not great.
Such a step down from the original. Like, what was the point?
Why even bother?
The first film is borderline a
Immense.
masterpiece, and then the second one is just whatever.
But what he did prove, and what he's proven with that movie and this now, is that he's certainly got an eye for violence, and the action was pretty good. It was the only thing that really, other than Michael B. Jordan, was the only thing that kept me watching. Because I watched this 3 days ago. I really cannot remember the actual plot.
No, it's that classic sort of.
It seems
classic,
so outdated. Like it's been done 25 times already.
America is America's biggest enemy.
Yeah. Some sort of espionage plot, constantly crisscrossing back and forth.
Michael B. Jordan he's always great, isn't he? In most things he does.
Yeah.
So he was definitely the standout of the movie, and the rest of the cast, which I've got Jamie Bell, Guy Pearce. I can't remember her name. She was in Queen and Slim.
Jodie Turner-Smith.
That's it. Yeah. A great actress. Again, nothing to really work with.
No, she was very just stiff. I found
could have been played by anyone.
She's playing a soldier, so I get what sort of mood they're trying to go for.
Yeah, but you get this casting, and they're all talented. We've all seen them do great work before, and then you really just give them nothing.
Yeah, this was no Billy Elliot.
A Fantastic Four reunion, though.
Yeah,
Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Bell.
He's not reaching those heights anymore.
No, downhill from there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the action was really good. There were a couple of scenes that really stood out. The prison fight sequence. You got to get that shirtless fight in.
Why did he make the floor really wet?
To make it like
slip about,
slippy, make them unstable, catch them off guard.
I feel like that didn't really.
Well,
they didn't really show much in the fight. Like
what? Just them constantly slipping around. Like
I feel like not.
He doesn't hit any of them.
Like one person ever slipped. I feel like he didn't need that because he'd kick the shit into them before they'd be able to step into the room.
I feel like Reese wanted them to come in and be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, give me some slapstick.
It's so slippery in here.
Like he made a point of making the floor wet, and then they all took one step in the room. By the time they walked in, he fucking kicked them shit on them. Didn't need that.
He needed a reason to take his shirt off.
He needed a reason,
and then
fine.
Slightly wet himself.
And I found it hard to believe that he can hit them with the batons when they're full armored and they get hit by them and hurt. Where they hit him and basically nothing happens.
After he'd been,
I just watched Fast and Furious 8 today, so I'm like, without remorse in that regard, seemed fine because The Rock was just taking rubber bullets to the face and just walking them off.
I'm gonna say, because Porter didn't ask me my opinion.
I'm sorry, Reese. I was getting.
I was personally surprised actually by the film. I
wasn't expecting much then.
No, I generally wasn't. I was like, it's a Tom Clancy film. It's gonna be all right. And by the end, I was like, you know what? That was a little bit more than all right, wasn't it? But I think it was the action.
All
scene.
right, plus.
I think it was that last kind of the last stand scene. Because I think I always kind of like scenes like that where it's like one bloke against 50 soldiers. And he changed into that outfit very quickly, didn't he? The Russian man's uniform.
Yeah. I also thought
change.
He steals it. I found it a bit weird that he stole the ambulance. Maybe this is just due to the run time. They couldn't add all this stuff in, and it's a bit boring to watch. But if they the ambulance he steals, they then get him out of it outside of their little hideout. And if the police had any sense, A paramedic would be like, "Oh, my ambulance is stolen. Okay, we'll trace the number plate. Oh, there it is, next to this other warehouse. That's where they are." But I'm assuming that was probably done off screen, like getting rid of that. But I don't know. It just felt a bit like it felt like they were thinking that most people aren't going to recognize that. So maybe I'm just weird.
Yeah.
You're paying
They
too
thought
much attention.
no one's gonna call that sort of thing out. But in a film where there's constant crisscrossing, people betraying each other, loads of revelations being made, I feel like these tiny details are quite important to like sort of keep you involved in it.
I found the really right, the dream-esque sequence he was having with like his wife after she died.
Yeah.
I found them really out of place. Like,
yeah, they did seem.
I don't know, they just didn't seem like. I know there's only two of them, so it wasn't like a big chunk of the film. But I was like,
they were like almost quasi-religious in some way.
Yeah, it was a really weird thing to.
It really just reminded me of Deadpool 2. You know, when he's like borderline dying and he keeps seeing Vanessa like trapped in heaven.
Yeah,
it was just reminding me of that. I was like, this has been done before and better, probably.
But that's the whole film. It's been done before, but better.
Yeah, so let's get on to that. Calvin, me and you were saying the other week how, you know, we're big fans of Taylor Sheridan. And he actually wrote on this. And that's why I was just expecting a bit more, because I thought the real problem here was it starts with a script. Because Michael B. Jordan is great, the action's fine, but when it comes down to it, this is just such a by the books, predictable thriller that we've seen just time and time again.
I know it's like, obviously it's adapted from a book, which I haven't read, so I can't say much about it, but I'm assuming the book is very much set in its time and they changed all the stuff to be more like current.
Yeah.
But I think maybe here, to please like sort of fans of Tom Clancy and the book, maybe they wanted to be like a bit too faithful, when I feel like maybe they could have. I'm not sure what the contents of the books are, but I feel like the best adaptations are the ones that take real big risks. And I feel like this film needed that to sort of fit in the current climate of modern action films. Like we've got stuff like John Wick, which is like sort of self-reflexive look at an action film, and I don't think these bare bones ones really hold up anymore. I feel like there needs to be something more there, and because there's other action films doing that at the moment, this just falls through the cracks.
You need to make yourself stand out, pretty much, and when you are a film that we've just seen before, you're gonna be forgotten. And I can't see anyone, you know, other than middle-aged dads really wanting a sequel to this.
Yeah.
Even though they do a Nick Fury MCU style setup for a sequel in the credits, which just felt so tacked on. Did you watch it, Reese? The mid credits?
I did, and you know what? I was like, I'll probably watch a Rainbow Six film. Why not?
So who comes in at the end?
It's just him.
It's just Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Bell.
And Jamie Bell talking.
Speaking of Jamie Bell,
why is he such a bastard?
Right? All the way through, they're hinting like, oh, he's evil. He's the bad guy.
Yeah. I think that was like trying to be like, maybe they're trying to be like trying to do like something new, like a subversion of tropes, like because you think that this guy's set up to be something, and I think it would have been more satisfying for him to be more involved than he was. But I think they tried to like really subvert this trope to be like, oh no, he's actually like not a decent guy, but he's actually like not as involved in this as you think. But then they don't do anything with it, and he's just like, I was wrong about you. And then I thought like maybe afterwards he was going to have something a bit more to do with it. I don't know. I think it was just
it was just an odd thing, like a weird red herring. I think we're supposed to suspect that it's someone that's working with the Russians from the start, and it's just like,
it's like, look over here, look at Jamie Bell.
And Guy Pearce walks in, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe it's Guy Pearce.
It's a bigger actor.
I just don't trust that. Whenever I see Guy Pearce, I just don't trust him.
Slippery.
In anything.
Yeah. No, whenever he walks in, I'm like, nah, he's a bad guy.
Even in Reese has a very different opinion. If you watch LA Confidential, it's like, it's the bad guy.
It's him.
I love that. Brett, is it Gelman or Gelman? Is that, I don't know what his name is, but he's the right guard. Yeah,
the guy
and
from
he's-
Stranger Things.
Yeah, being typecast again as
And
an
Fleabag,
American
yeah.
guy who likes.
He's just gone
Russians.
to Russia. He's just gone to Russia because he really misses Alexei.
Yeah, it's just like that's him and everything now. He's just an American guy who is obsessed with Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah, Calvin, you were talking about it, that whole the Jamie Bell Guy Pearce thing about subverting tropes. But when you do that, you need to at least make it interesting and do something different to subvert that trope. And
Yeah.
it's boring when it's like he's probably the bad guy. Look at him. Oh no, it's someone else we don't care about.
Yeah.
It's boring, and they made it such a big part of the movie that when it
I
does
feel
happen,
like,
I just lost all interest.
And I was so mad that he was like, "Oh, I'm an asshole." And he's like, "Oh no, he strangled me. Oh, I better be nice to him." It was such a
I'd be
quick
nice if he
change,
strangled
like-
me. He's massive.
Yeah, I feel like if they were
that
gonna-
strangling scene, Reese, I'd fucking of whatever he asked me to do afterwards. I'd be like, I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry, Michael B.
Do you think you'd be able to maybe you could strangle someone? I think it'd be a lot harder to leave someone gasping for it with one arm. I'm not sure.
I think
I haven't
Did you
strangled many
see
people.
his
but-
arms?
Maybe
He is
Jamie Bell has a
absolutely-
really weak neck. I don't know.
I think Jamie Bell's quite small as well.
Got a little tiny
Yeah.
neck.
Well, they were choking people out in this film in literally 2 seconds. Literally get their arm around someone, he's like, ah, and then he's just gone.
Yeah, no one's
like
got a
that-
lot of air in this movie, did he?
No.
Well, that whole prison fight scene, when it like pans out of the room and you see like 30 more guards. Like I literally messaged James halfway through, and she was like, "There is not a single part of me that thinks that if they all went into that room, he wouldn't kill each and every one of them. Literally 30 of them."
It kind of reminded me of that film. Is it? Yeah, Michael J. White, and he's in a prison as well, and he like wets his t-shirt.
Was
Have
it
you
called
seen it?
Blood and Bone?
Yeah, and he just kicks everyone's ass
Yeah.
with like a wet t-shirt. I was like, is he gonna do
Yeah.
that as well?
God, that's not a good film.
It's like just copying Michael J. White beating up Kimbo Slice with a wet t-shirt.
My-
So, oh, go on.
I was gonna say my favorite part of this movie, it actually made me like giggle, is at the beginning when he's at that like family party kind of thing, and he kisses his wife and he's gonna go speak to someone else, and he sees those 2 kids playing chess, and then he checkmates one of them out of nowhere for no reason, like to show that he's like smart.
That was
and,
like on the nose. Yeah.
just really
Also-
made me laugh, like,
strategist.
Also, his
Yeah,
wife as well, being like, "This isn't your baby." I was like, "Whoa, that's a bit on." Considering that happens very often to soldiers,
Yeah.
I'd be
I
like, "All
suppose,
right."
yeah.
Don't joke about that.
Speaking of that scene at like the dinner party with like trying to like bit on the nose hint to the audience that this man's like some sort of strategist. I'm getting really bored of these same sort of really Americanized characters where they seem to be all called John. They're all like the most virtuous man in the world when they're with their family, that they've got no shred of like being unhinged in any way, and then as soon as they get wronged they go on like this spree, and by the end of the film, and in this I think Michael B. Jordan tried to do a better job at showing that he was unhinged, but by the last act he just seemed like he was just on like a trigger happy warpath instead of being like this really broken down man who's lost everything. I'm sort of bored of seeing those characters now. I think there's room to make it for it to be done well, but I think they just binned that as soon as the action started to ramp up.
I think it's always hard to root for a guy who, even though he's threatening the bad guy, threatening to kill a man's entire family. It's always like, oh.
Yeah, but it might make a more interesting character if we had to choose to root for him or not.
Yeah.
Like those
But
characters
yes.
are more compelling to me, especially that like with the way modern cinema is constantly subverting all these tropes and changing things. I don't know. I just feel like on a personal level that would work better for me.
Well, it's like in Sicario, when he kills, can't remember who he is, but when Benicio del Toro kills that guy's family in front of him, and then he kills him at the end.
Yeah, that just
Like
like
that.
the enigma around that character is great, and then the second one they just completely throw it at the wall. But yeah.
So the setup for this, they're on a mission at the beginning, and then we're told it's the Russians. Turns out to be the CIA, picking off these soldiers, one by one in like gang style executions. And then they come for Michael B. Jordan, and his wife and unborn baby get murdered. And
Blown away.
I forgot about that maybe 2 scenes later. That was his motivation, because they really give nothing to the wife.
No, they really don't.
Nothing at all. Her sole purpose is to be murdered and to motivate him to go on a killing spree.
Just an excuse for him to do.
I think him saying my wife's name is Pam to all these people was just to remind us he has a wife.
I'm like, oh yeah, that. Yeah, okay.
It wouldn't have been out of place if he like forgot her name. Like in the last act, he's like, her name was Jan, and
the bad guy's like, I thought it was Pam.
Yeah, no, it was you said it was Pam. Yes, Pam is her name.
Pam, yeah, that's it.
Jan was a funny nickname I had for her, but she's really called Pam. Call her Pam.
Damn it.
Also, we learned that John Clark has a pregnancy kink. It's not a.
Did we?
Is it John Clark or is it John Kelly?
Oh, John
Clark
Clark
at the end.
Oh,
it's the John Clark series of books.
Yeah, and then they changed it to Kelly.
Yeah, right at the start, he wants to get on his wife then, but she says no. So he goes downstairs.
That's just because this is his wife.
He goes upstairs. He goes upstairs with some peanuts.
We don't know the ins and outs of their relationship. Obviously, he got her pregnant before she was pregnant, so I think he's just got a love for his wife. I think it's just called a happy marriage, Reese.
I think it gives him layers.
Layers. Go out and get pregnant so that I'll want to sleep with you. I don't think that's how it works.
Actually, go on.
I don't know why. This is my favorite scene in the movie. Well, apart from the prison bit, when he's unhinged, when he literally sets that car on fire. There are people running around him, screaming and shouting. He sets that car on fire, like fully ablaze, and then, like an absolute maniac, he gets inside it, which no normal man.
Yeah.
And it's not even just like a bit on fire. He actually puts his hand. He puts his hand on a flaming door handle and then gets in.
Just opens it with ease.
Yeah, like
after he's just poured alcohol over his head to pretend he's drunk, which doesn't matter to anything.
that scene, that whole scene, I was like, why is he pissing on his clothes? Afterwards, I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense now. But I was like, that's too far.
Because he's a tactical genius, as evidenced by him beating that child at chess. That bit actually really annoyed me because, like, chess isn't just a game you jump into. Like, it takes a while. Like, those kids could have been playing for over 45 minutes, and then he just comes in, bang, check.
Also,
and I'd be like, what the fuck?
The kids just didn't react.
Yeah, they were almost like classic John ruining our game.
Those kids don't know. Those kids don't know
Every game
chess.
they ever play.
Every game
comes in at the last second.
Yeah, he's always like 1-0. That's not the same, John, because you didn't play the whole game.
Oh, do that.
I don't know if Paul. Let's assume that kid's name was Paul. I don't know if Paul here was going to make that move, but he could have, and then he could have won anyway. It's just annoying. It's just
really holding on to that scene.
It's just really wound me up.
We laughed at the end where he's like, the funeral scene. He's like, oh, less people than I thought. Because all your mates are dead, John.
Well, your mates and your wife.
We saw that at the start. All your mates have been killed off.
Hey, where's Mark? Oh, Mark literally was shot. Oh, you're right, yeah.
He got ran over by a van taking the
Everyone I know died except for the man who was also at that party. I don't know if they're related.
No,
just the other man he speaks to.
And
at the party.
half expected him to be like when he's in the back of that car at the end to be like, I'm the protagonist.
Yeah, that is what it seemed like. Mission accomplished. I thought this definitely started better than it ended. The actual conclusion felt really rushed to me. So much so that I was like, have I missed something? I wasn't engaged. Probably after the prison scene or the plane crash within it, that extended underwater sequence. After that, I really I wasn't engaged anymore. I sort of checked out, and by the end, I was like, have I missed things, or is this just poorly put together?
That reminded me. Talking about missing things. Was there an explanation to why Jamie Bell didn't get on the plane with him? Did they ever explain that?
No.
I think,
think
from a script
he's sort of in
standpoint,
on it,
just to-
isn't he?
He's what?
He's sort of in on it, and then when they get all pinned down by those snipers, I think then he's sort of like, that's what I saw it as.
No, I think
he's-
what
I
it
think
was
he's-
is he wanted to get there before them. So I think he went on like a smaller. From what I understood, he went on like, I think he was on like another plane, which maybe was harder to track. So I think he wanted to get there first to get to those Russian guys to bribe them, so that they would give him the location to Rykov.
Good remembering of the bloody name.
I
How
think
the hell did you remember that?
that's what I got from it anyway. Because like,
Oh, you only watched it today, didn't you?
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it.
Oh,
a couple
right.
hours ago.
Okay. That explains it.
Watched it on Monday.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I really cannot remember a lot about this movie, and that just goes to show how forgettable it was. I'm not clamoring for a sequel, but
Yeah,
I mean, there's
it's just one of those
groundwork here.
films.
There's some sort of groundwork here. Maybe change up the director.
Are they intending to link it with like the John Krasinski TV show?
I don't know. I mean, it is possible because they are both Amazon. So if they really wanted to pursue a universe, then they could. But
Jack Ryan in Rainbow Six.
I don't know. I've not read
Yeah.
any of those books, and I'm not massive into the games.
Yeah, I think I played one of the games ages ago.
I just want a damn Splinter Cell movie. No
They've been
Rainbow
doing
Six,
that
no
for
Jack
ages,
Ryan.
haven't
Just
they?
yeah,
They've been
Tom
trying to
Hardy
figure
was
it out.
attached years ago.
Yeah,
And
I don't know
I
if
think they're doing like an animated Splinter Cell for Netflix or something.
why. Like,
Why?
who has asked for that? Who's oh god who was like, oh, this Tom Hardy Sam Fisher movie isn't kicking off. Oh, what if we get rid of Tom Hardy and we make it animated? Who's like, yes, the
Brilliant.
people want that.
Me?
Like, no
I'd
one
love
wants that.
They don't be dissing animation here.
No,
They
not
can do so much more
disanimation.
with that.
Not disanimation, but like,
To
I'm
watch
just-
Tom Hardy chew up scenery for 2 hours instead.
Yeah, like not even like Tom Hardy. Like they should just do a live action one because those games are really sick.
Yeah.
So they should figure it out. If he can't do it or whatever, or doesn't want to do it, fucking bin him and then get someone else. That's just
Fucking bin him.
annoying. That is just because Tom Clancy is all like, it's dad stuff.
Yeah.
Like what dad is going to be like? Oh, there's a new Sam Fisher cartoon. Shut this bad boy on.
I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, like, know your audience. These men. I'm speaking for the men, the dads. They want a proper 2 hour 20 2 hour 15 Sam Fisher just tearing shit up. Just give him that instead.
Jack knows what
This
the,
idea
what
is
the dads
such a
want.
hypothetical as well. Jack's getting so heated on it.
Yeah.
The show doesn't even exist yet. Or might
It's
not even
fuming.
exist.
Imagine one day
That's
he's just gonna be flicking through Netflix. You'll see it and just fling his remote at the wall. It's like, I'm fucking done.
Oh, it's just
They made it. Oh.
Shit.
it's just stupid. I'm just annoyed about it now.
All right,
Let's wrap it up.
before Jack blows a gasket, yeah, let's do our ratings. Yeah, like I said, good central performance, solid eye for action, but really nothing else. This is a movie we've seen countless times before. I'll be interested in a sequel if they switch up the director and just do something, not so conventional with it. I'm going to go with a 4 out of 10. Calvin?
So overall, I feel like the film was just fine. Yeah, the action set pieces were well done, which you obviously just come to expect anyway. But otherwise, the film was bland, uninspired, but it was also watchable. And I think it pulls off what it intends to do. So I give it a 5 out of 10 because it's very middling.
Yeah. Jack?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for 5 as well.
That's the quickest rating we've ever
Yeah.
got from him.
I've actually thought about it this
He
time.
didn't even ponder on it. He just
Because it was just bang average. And usually what happens to me is I hear one of your ratings and you just fuck me up. That's what happens. Like I'll be like, oh, I think I liked it more than James, and then you'll be like, I'll give it a 10. I'm like, oh, that's no. Then I definitely didn't.
I didn't.
So I have to rethink it. Yeah, again, like some of the action sequences were quite sick. Like the prison fight scene I thought was awesome, although brief. But then, yeah, I just didn't care. Like his motivations, like you meet his wife. Literally, I think she says about 2 lines. Then the next thing you know, she's dead.
Yeah,
and it wasn't enough. Again, this isn't one of those films where I don't want an hour of him building a relationship with this woman just to kill her off. But I wanted a bit more for me to actually care.
yeah.
Like when she died, I was just like, okay, now we're getting to the shooting.
Oh yeah, it's starting.
All right. Yeah, it's just one of those films that you've seen 100 times before.
Yeah.
I'll give it. I'm gonna give it 6. Like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting a lot. You know, maybe it's because I haven't had time to like really think about it. Because obviously I watched it today.
Yeah, give it 3 days. You won't remember what the hell we talked about.
After that, I watched an awful film, which made that film look really good. I'll talk about it a bit. But yeah, I think the action is really well done. Michael B. Jordan was great. And yeah, like I said, I'd watch a sequel if it came out. So yeah, I'll give it a 6.
Nice.
Is that a sick, or is that a?
That's not a sick.
No,
I thought 7 was.
That's in between, isn't it? It's an ill.
Ill.
It's an ill.
Reese's stamp of approval. Off. Without remorse is ill.
Ill.
And that's the show, guys. Thanks as always for watching. Head to our Twitter and follow us at Keeping It Real UK. From there, you can find links to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Please like, rate, and subscribe where you can. We'll see you again on Wednesday for our discussion on the best and worst video game movies. Until then, please share this around if you enjoy. And as always, keep it real.